I still can't get that last lap out of my head. That kind of finish is exactly why we love superspeedway racing, and exactly why it drives us absolutely crazy at the same time. 1 second you're on your feet, thinking you're about to witness something historic, and the next second it's just smoke, sparks, and heartbreak flying across the tri-oval. And what makes this one hurt even more is that it felt like we were this close to seeing a storybook moment. The kind of Daytona 500 finish we'd be talking about for years. Instead, we're arguing about decisions, speed, math, and whether a dream was actually real or just something we imagined in the heat of the moment. This isn't just about one move. It's about legacy. It's about frustration boiling over. It's about teammates making split-second calls at 200 miles per hour. And now, the entire NASCAR garage is split on what really would have happened if things played out differently. If you're a real NASCAR fan, you know moments like this shape a season. Before we break it all down, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to NASCAR Nation Report. We're a new channel trying to build a real community of die-hard fans, and we're pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you live and breathe NASCAR like I do, you're in the right place. All right, let's talk about what really went down. The chaos unfolded in the closing seconds of the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. And if you've watched enough superspeedway racing, you already know how razor-thin the margins are there. Coming off turn 4, Brad Keselowski had a monster run. And let's not forget this was his 17th start in the Great American Race. A former Cup Series champion, an owner-driver at RFK Racing, a guy who showed up to the track earlier in the week with a walking stick and still looked like he had a real shot at finally grabbing that Daytona 500 trophy that's always slipped through his fingers. He had help, too. A strong push from Joey Logano behind him. The run was building fast, and you could see it. You could feel it. The 6 car was coming up front. Tyler Reddick in the 45 Toyota had just gotten a massive shove from his teammate Riley Herbst in the 35. Herbst did exactly what a teammate is supposed to do at first. He pushed Reddick clear. That shove is a big reason Reddick crossed the line first. And let's pause there for a second. That win made Reddick the 44th different driver to win the Daytona 500. It was his first win in this race, his maiden Daytona 500 victory, the first for Toyota since Denny Hamlin won it back in 2020. That's a big deal. That's history. Reddick was emotional afterward. He said he didn't know if he'd ever win this race. He talked about how his son asked him before the race, "Are you finally going to win this one?" And he said something about that day just felt right. That's the kind of moment that makes Daytona magical. But here's where everything exploded. After pushing Reddick, Herbst tried to bounce to the outside of Chase Elliott to grab second place. The problem? Keselowski was already there with that huge run with Logano pushing, and with maybe a shot at the win. Herbst moved from the bottom all the way up the track trying to block. Contact happened. The 35 and the 6 slammed across the line. Cars piled in. Smoke everywhere. Keselowski ends up 5th. Damaged nose. Another Daytona heartbreak. And he did not hold back. He said the 35 just wrecked me out of nowhere for no reason. Called it one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Said Herbst had no chance of blocking that run. Said he had a huge run and wanted the opportunity to find out if he could catch the 45. He even broke it down. Said a one-lane block might make sense, but to go from the very bottom to the very top and wreck yourself and everybody else, he called it stupid. Very, very stupid. You could hear the frustration. And honestly, if you're a fan of the 6 car, you felt it too. Because here's the reality. Keselowski hasn't won in 60 races now. 60. His last victory came at Darlington back in 2024. Every near miss stings a little more when you're in a drought like that. And Daytona, that's the one that would have erased all of it in a second. But then comes the other side of this. On his Actions Detrimental podcast, Denny Hamlin stepped in and basically said, "Pump the brakes." Hamlin said, "We're living in fairy tale land if we think the 6 was actually going to win that race." And he didn't just throw out an opinion. He brought numbers. He said the 6 car was running 192 miles per hour. The 45 was running 188.5 at the same point. Sounds like Keselowski is faster, right? But Hamlin pointed out the distance, about 4 car lengths back, roughly 200 yards to go. He basically said, do the math. The 6 might have gotten beside the 9 of Elliott, but he wasn't getting all the way to Reddick. And that's where this debate gets interesting, because emotionally, it felt like Keselowski was coming. But mathematically, maybe Hamlin is right. As fans, we live in that split second. We see momentum. We see a run. We believe in the slingshot. But Hamlin is saying, the gap plus the distance equals no shot. So what's the truth? Honestly, it might be somewhere in between. Keselowski himself even admitted, "I don't know if I could have gotten the 45, but I would have liked to have found out." And that right there is the key. It's not about guaranteeing the win. It's about not getting the chance. Meanwhile, Herbst's move earned praise from an unexpected place. Michael Jordan, co-owner of 23 Sex Racing, backed his driver for helping secure that win for his teammate. From a team perspective, mission accomplished. They delivered the Daytona 500 trophy. From Keselowski's perspective, it cost him his shot. And as if the week wasn't eventful enough, Keselowski also jumped into the Formula One conversation. After 4-time F1 champion Max Verstappen criticized his Red Bull car during pre-season testing in Bahrain, even calling it Formula E on steroids, Keselowski saw an opening. He went on social media and basically said, "We've got a Ford Racing Cup car ready to go. Feel free to DM when you're ready, Max." That's classic Brad. Competitive, a little playful, always promoting the sport. Now he heads to the Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway. Still stuck at 60 races without a win. Still without that Daytona 500 trophy. And now, with the entire garage debating whether he ever had a real shot. So what does this all mean? It means Daytona once again proved why it's the most emotional race of the year. It means teammates will always make split-second decisions that look brilliant to some and reckless to others. It means numbers don't always calm down fans' hearts. And it means Brad Keselowski is still hunting. For Reich, this could be the spark that launches a championship run. Winning the Daytona 500 changes how a season feels. It locks you into history. It builds momentum. It builds belief. For Keselowski, this adds fuel. And if you know anything about veteran drivers in this sport, you know fuel like that can turn dangerous real quick. We're just getting started this season. Playoff spots, momentum swings, manufacturer battles, Ford versus Toyota versus Chevrolet. It's all heating up already. And I don't know about you, but I love when NASCAR gives something to argue about all week. So tell me, do you think Brad had a real shot? Or are we living in that fairy tale land Hamlin talked about? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Revived Wheels is just getting started, and we're building this for real fans who want honest takes in real conversation. We're chasing our first 1,000 subscribers. So, if you want to ride along with us all season long, make sure you subscribe. Because if Daytona taught us anything, it's that every inch matters. And this season,